Guess who it is? My voice confirms my identity. My voice confirms my identity. You know, I was using my bank app the other day, and to transfer money from one account to the other, it asked me to repeat that statement. My voice confirms my identity. Have you ever walked up behind somebody and put your hands over their eyes and said, guess who? And they guess who it is straight away. Why? Because your voice confirms your identity. In the book of Genesis, when Jacob was trying to trick his father Isaac in believing that he was his brother, Isaac said, but isn't that the voice of my son Jacob? And yet the hands of my son Esau. And then another passage of scripture where King David or King Saul heard the voice of David and said, is that not the voice of my son David? And then we've got another passage in the New Testament where Jesus had just healed a blind man. Obviously, the blind man had not seen what Jesus looked like before. And then Jesus said to the blind man, don't you know who it is that stands before you? Don't you recognize my voice? Jesus also goes on to say that his sheep know his voice. So our voice confirms our identity. Your voice confirms your identity. And in fact, a lot of our identity is discovered through our voice. You know, one of the saddest things I think I've discovered about motor neuron disease is that everyone who has motor neuron disease eventually loses their voice. And in losing their voice, they lose a certain amount of their identity. You can imagine if you lose the use of your arms and your legs, that's bad enough. But losing the ability to use your own voice and to communicate the thoughts that you have towards those that you love, that's a devastating thing for anyone to have to go through. But you know what? I've got a lot of team around me when it comes to my multidisciplinary team, and I have speech therapists, occupational therapists, physios, GPs, neurologists, and I've given them my motto. My motto is prepare for the worst, believe for the best, and trust God in the rest. And so I know that unless I get a miracle, that eventually I will lose the use of this voice. But I don't want to lose my identity. And so what I've done is that I have voice banked my voice and message banked some messages with my own voice to be able to use with eye gaze technology. And I'm going to show you that right now. This is how that works. So this is my eye gaze technology with my message bank and voice banked already done. I'm going to give you an example of that now. So if I go into quick fire statements, I can, hey grandma, yes please, you're welcome. I can go back into here, go into dad. Here are some statements for my kids. Hey Lucas, I love you mate. My grandchildren. Hey Lucas, come give grandpa a hug. What did you do today, Maya? Hey Maya. Hi Maya, I love you. Daniel. Hey Daniel, I love you mate.
Do.
That's one that's not done. Yeah.
How was your day, Daniel?
So that's with the computer voice. Here's,
hey Daniel, I love you mate.
That gives you my voice. Now look, I've message banked Siri.
Hey Siri, turn the office light off.
Okay.
There goes the light.
Hey Siri, turn the office light on.
Done.
So that's eye gaze technology with voice banking and message banking done. And there's a lot more there. It has taken me hours and hours to do, but well worth it. So for those of you that have motor neuron disease or ALS, and haven't yet lost your voice, I'm sorry for those that have already lost their voice and therefore lost the opportunity to be able to use this technology. But I would really strongly recommend to anybody who has motor neuron disease and still has their voice to start recording their voice, start message banking their voice now, and be ready to be able to communicate to your loved ones when you've lost the ability to use your own natural voice. The other thing that my voice therapist said to me, and while I was doing this voice banking, they said, think of the most common phrases you use and then also the most important. You know, that struck me. I thought, why wouldn't be the most common things the most important things? Or why aren't the most important things the most common things that we say? And so that's maybe a thought for you today. Well, why don't you imagine one day you were not able to communicate? What would be the statements, the most important things you want to communicate? And why not start communicating those now? Make the most important things, the most important statements you have to make the most common. Okay, peace and love to you. Phil Camden here again. Happy Friday and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye for now.